When you look at the world through the lens of an artist, you start to see these beautiful patterns and mimicked cycles. The planetary cycles, the moon, the tides, birth cycles, the season cycle. There's lots of parallels. If you look at the seasons, we change from spring to summer to fall to winter and back again. And if you look at the human life, it also comes in these 4 seasons. The first season, spring, is from birth until about 15 years old, or puberty. That is childhood. That is a brave heart, mental growth. Everything is new. Everything is surprising and awe-inspiring. And then 15 to about 30, this is the next cycle. This is summer. This is the adolescence. It might actually surprise people. You don't really become an adult at 18. And we see this in psychology, where the brain chemistry is actually not fully formed until the late 20s. But we also see this in astrology, where when your Saturn returns, I get the most people asking for chart readings around the time of 27 and on until about 34. And that is a huge time of change into adulthood. Lots of responsibility coming their way because Saturn has fully returned and that planet is all about responsibility. This is where you're going to create the markings of your own particular life. Before, spring was all about finding yourself, but within the bounds of the family and the culture that you're raised in. This adulthood, everything is your choice. Also around this time, if you're around the age of 27, you will feel incredible amounts of pressure. You will feel perhaps like your life is coming to an end, where things just become full of meaning and meaningless, or nothing makes sense anymore. You start to see habits within yourself and things, patterns that you've started doing, and it's just disgusting, and you want to change, and it's like you're just not comfortable in your own skin anymore. And this is growth. This is literally this shedding of skin, and you are stepping into a new being. This transformation is tricky because at the puberty level, everybody sees it, and so they're expecting it. And so they're not too surprised. Of course, people hate teenagers and everything, but they're not too surprised because your voice is changing, your height is changing, your boobs are growing, everything's changing. But around the time of 27, it seems like all the change is happening within, and people might think you're going crazy because why are you not acting like yourself? Why are you changing directions? Things were fine. Because it's inconvenient for their life. This whole process is completely normal. It is a maturity. It's an awakening. It's to take responsibility for yourself. It's no longer enough just to push the blame onto somebody else, but it's to say that now, whatever choice I make is mine. Mistakes are mine. Now, this is a really good time for a personal reading because it can help you with those crucial decisions in life and where you're headed and why. Then you become an adult, you have the family, or you have the career, or you do what you do, and you start the business, and things just go along swimmingly. And unless there's some kind of big upheaval out of nowhere, like a death or something like that, typically people get very busy in their lives. They don't come up for air as much. But then around the time of the midlife crisis, which is right around 50 heading into 60, that's the time when people once again are like, whoa, what is going on here? Who am I? It's interesting if you look at the numbers, 15, 30, 60. But this is the next Saturn returns, and now you're headed into winter. This is where you definitely know you're on the downward slope. Life is going to come to an end. And for the first time in your life, you can actually see that end very clearly. And it's coming for you. And also, the world is not your own anymore. Other people have taken charge. They're doing it their way. And people don't always want to hear your opinion. Sometimes they don't even ask. This is your time to give back. Some people think life is over here because the fun is gone. The party is over. And now it's just time to be the good boy or girl and do what you're told and be the grown-up for real. But just like a perfect snowfall, this time of life can be incredibly beautiful. Because yes, your body is achy, it's falling apart, the world is moving on, but the responsibilities start to go into the back burner. And you just connect to who you are, the child within, and also a knowledge of how far you've come, how much you have to give, and less stress about making big decisions and just being able to exist and live in the moment. This can be a very Zen time because it's less about doing and more about being. The sage role, or the Yoda role, is to be able to move mountains without even lifting a finger. The ability to put yourself at the center of your life is becoming harder and harder in some ways and easier in others. It's harder to think that your work life carries such impact because you see that you're just one of many. But it's actually easier to see that your time, your attention, your care, your ability to listen and to hear can be life-changing to people. So these are the seasons of life. These are the seasons of the greatest change in your life. But that said, any day, any moment, we are waking up different than the day before. Change is inevitable. There's a common phrase, history repeats itself. I couldn't disagree more. Although there are cycles and there are patterns that we like to get stuck into as humans, evolution and spirituality and growth marches forward. We are now a global community, and warfare is becoming less and less desired because we don't see each other as the enemy. We see each other as curiosity, and that's the first step towards love. While technology and all of these things, of course, have their downsides, they are a pivotal part of this process towards creating oneness on Earth. And it is my belief that every generation going forward is going to advance our spiritual awareness and our knowledge of the universe within, our own psyche, our own soul and psychology. Change is inevitable, and these seasons of life just give that change an added boost. Hope you guys like the video and subscribe.